63 degrees Fahrenheit. This has to be one of my favorite, it is my favorite time of the year, fall in Michigan. I love it. Chilly enough that you can throw on like a long sleeve shirt. Oh, my bee suit's open. Some jeans, you get a little cold, you throw on a nice hoodie. Beautiful. I'm out at the bee yard today and I'm getting ready to feed my bees, and I thought I would bring you guys along. But before we get started, I want to show you my cool little bee setup. I enhanced my workflow. It's always been a little bit of a chore to me. Every time I wanted to work on my bees, I would leave my house, I would run to my bee barn, I would get all my supplies, throw it all on my four-wheeler, come back here to where the bees are, and then when I get done, I got to put everything back away. What I've done is I took one of these pallet tables that we had from, we made these in the spring, we made 3 of them for our son's wedding reception that he had at our house, and they've just been sitting around since then, and I thought, hey, why not take one of them and put it back here? I can put all my equipment on there. I have this little tub here that I picked up at Walmart. It's like a waterproof Rubbermaid tub or something like that. And in here I generally keep this is all of my queen marking equipment, my queen catchers, things like that, some duct tape, a marker. Keep a coffee can with some pine needles in it, my torch for lighting my smoker, various mouse guard gloves, hanger grabbers, some rubber gloves, bee brush, and my smoker usually lives in here too. Keeps everything waterproof. It's already here when I come back here to work on the bees. I don't get out here and realize, oh crap, I forgot my brush. Leave my brush today and I forgot it. No, it's all here. It's waterproof. I can just leave it here. I probably won't leave it here over the winter. I'll probably bring it back to the barn. But having everything here is nice, and it saved me so many trips back and forth, back and forth. So I switched this around because when I talk about my bees, this is the spot where I normally film from. And we talk about the hives. I want to keep this part quick though, because this isn't like a full-on bee update. I'm basically feeding my bees today. My weakest hive down here at the end, I've reduced them down to a single brood chamber. That second brood that I added, they never moved up in there. It was completely empty. Getting ready for winter, I have to condense them down into a single brood chamber, and population is still low. So I'm worried about that one. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it through winter. That queen that's in there though, she survived. She is a survivor queen. If you don't know that story, there's a link right here up above here. You can click that link and really cool story. Next hive, the one down in the middle, that is my strongest hive. They're doing good. I pulled the super off of them the other day because it was empty. They had drawn out a lot of comb on it, but they didn't store anything in it. And the goldenrod's about done, so time to condense those girls down to 2 brood chambers for winter. Same with the third one down there on the end. They're super, they didn't put anything in it. They drew out a lot of it, so that's good for next year. I'll have a lot of comb that's drawn and ready for them. But I condensed them down to 2 brood chambers as well, so that to get them ready for winter. What I have here is about 3.5 gallons of 2-to-1 sugar syrup. This is made with 25 pounds of sugar and 1.5 gallons of water. You will have to heat it a bit to get that much sugar to dissolve in that little of water. A little splash of vinegar and about a tablespoon of Honeybee Healthy. It smells amazing, tastes amazing, really sweet though. I have 2 different feeders that I'm going to be dealing with today. One is this style for the weakest hive. This is going to go inside of a medium box up on top. There's another blue piece that goes on the bottom that this kind of sits on top of. The bees can crawl up in there. They can get some sugar. Oh, there's still some old syrup in there. You can get that out anyways. Bees can kind of climb up through the little blue thing, go down, get a drink, go back down into the hive, store it. Then in the fall, you're going to want to use a syrup like this. This is 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. In the spring, you want to feed 1 part sugar to 1 part water. The more concentrated sugar is in the fall. That stimulates more of a, hey, we need to store this and hoard it, versus in the spring, it's a little more diluted. So we'll start with getting this this little feeder here filled up. We'll get this one installed and then we'll move on to the next ones. Let's see if I can do this without making a huge giant mess. This has been sitting for a few days. So there's a couple of little clumps of, whoa! There we go. I'm gonna have bees everywhere in a few minutes once they find out what I just did. So it's been sitting for a few days, so there's been a few little clusters of sugar that have kind of recrystallized. If you're heating this up to dissolve it, don't ever boil it. Don't get it warm enough to the point where it boils, because that breaks down the sugars and it can be bad for the bees. Here's that little blue piece I was telling you about. This is what that other little tank sits on. And this pushes in the little nipple on the bottom, and this fills up with sugar water. Alright, so we'll start with our top cover. The bees can come up through here. The feeder goes on like this. That's that. These are the ones that are super active right now. So got my veil on. I don't have gloves, but hopefully they don't come after me, especially if they know what I was doing for them right now. So I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but my bee suit has these little thumb strings right here. And I hardly ever put them on my thumbs because it just feels kind of silly. But they just dangle there and they touch my hand all the time just because they're hanging and they're not attached to my thumb. And every time they'll touches my hand, I feel like there's a bee on me. Well, there actually is a bee there. Like this little guy. Between the bees and this little string touching me, I don't know what's real. Yeah, these girls are angry. I'm gonna put some gloves on. So this feeder just sits right here on the top. This came from Man Lake. And the way that this works is you pour your sugar syrup in here. There's a little slot at the top and the bees can come up through there, climb down on this screen to get to the syrup, and then go back down in through the hive, and it prevents them from actually having full access to the syrup so they don't drown in it. It's one of the hazards that you always are faced with when you're feeding bees, is don't let them drown in whatever it is that you're feeding them, because they're not swimmers. Could have probably made up more syrup than what I did. We'll save the rest for the last hive. We'll see how fast they go through this, and I'm going to keep feeding. I'm going to keep feeding until we get temps down too low that this starts to freeze. And then we'll end up replacing this with some sugar blocks or some fondant or something like that. And one of the nice things about this feeder is that I can come back out here and I can pull this off. The bees can't come at me. They're protected, enclosed in the screen. So if I want to come out and check to see, hey, how much food have they eaten so far, or give them more food, I almost don't even need to wear my suit. You can come out here, you just pull this, whatever cover you have on, off, pour in some more, and carry on with the rest of your day. Midway through filming this video, I got a phone call from Abigail. If you don't know, Abigail is our daughter, and a yellow jacket right there. Now he's a dead yellow jacket. Abigail's our daughter. She graduated from high school this past summer, and this fall she left home because she enlisted in the United States Navy, and she has 9 more days of boot camp left. So she's doing awesome. Everything is passing. She did her final physical fitness test. She passed all of that stuff. All that she has left is basically firefighter certification and battle stations, which, if you don't know what that is, it's like a big 2-day simulated test to basically determine once and for all, do you have what it takes to be a sailor? So it was really cool to hear from Abigail. She sounded like she was doing really good. She was really happy. So it was really good to hear her voice. I miss her a lot. Still a lot of sugar down left in there. I think I might just take this bucket back there somewhere and leave it and let the bees clean all the rest of this out. Make sure there's not enough water in there for any bees to drown, and we'll let them have their way with it. They were trying to get in there. They smell it. Keeping all of my top entrances closed. Yellow jackets are out in force right now, trying to get at any little last bit of food that they can get, including my bees and my bees' food that they have saved up for the winter, that they worked so hard on all summer and all fall to collect all the food, and now all the yellow jackets are coming to try to steal it. All of my entrances have been reduced down to the smallest to let them better defend the hive against invaders like that. So I know this was kind of a short one for you guys today. Sometimes it's almost weird sometimes when you really get deep down in YouTube. It's almost weird sometimes to have a day where you don't film. Not that we film every single day by any means, but sometimes I just like taking you guys along with it. So I'll leave this here for the bees to clean up. I think Rachel's home by now. I need to go find her and make sure Abigail called her. When she hung up with me, she was going to call Abigail. So I need to make sure that took place and figure out dinner for tonight. Well, it's the next day. It's been about 26 hours since I put that syrup on there. I just checked hive number 3, this one on the end, my weakest hive, and they've hardly taken any of the syrup out of that round feeder. This is hive 1. This is my strongest hive. This is the one that I put the most syrup in yesterday. Probably 1.5 gallons, I think. And it's gone. Completely gone. Still bees all over the screen. They're looking for more. Hey, what happened? They're like junkies. Hive, next one down over here. I'm not gonna mess with that one. There's so many bees trying to get into that one. I think I've created a little bit of a robbing scenario, which necessarily is not good. I have all of my entrances closed way down, as small as I can get them. In fact, hive 3, the first one I showed you where they haven't really taken a lot of the syrup yet, I got a bunch of sticks poked into their hole so that there's like room for 1 bee at a time to get in and out of that hive. Maybe this one's calming down enough. Let's see. And they are everywhere. They know there's some goodies in there. Yeah, they still have a lot. Maybe that's why all the bees are over here on this one trying to get in. So that's what's going on. This round 1 of feeding for us. I'll keep taking you guys along throughout the fall here and keep you up to date on how things are. They're obviously hungry. I just got to make sure I get the right food to the right bees at this point. See you guys later.